Okay, there we go. Good morning. If you guys didn't get pumped from that journey, I don't know what you are or where you are this morning, but happy Friday. Very, very excited to have a wonderful guest with me today. A good way to start your Friday. So I welcome everyone to the call. Team leader, director of growth, amazing human being, Kat Matso Lewis. Kat, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here with all of you. Happy Friday.
Yeah, so excited to have you, Kat. So those of you on the call that don't know who Kat is, Kat, tell us a little bit more about your relationship with real estate.
Yeah, my relationship with real estate. Where do I start? I think I unintentionally fell into this industry, had no intention of ever working in real estate. I actually was pursuing the clinical psychology route, took a little gap from school, and
Oh,
lo
wow.
and behold, found myself in a real estate office, and the rest is really history. So I started at a different brokerage myself, and about a year and a half in, I got connected with a husband and wife team out of Burlingame, California, so up in the North Bay. With Keller Williams, and they wanted to build out a big team, take market share, have a big business, and they brought me on to help them do just that. So my relationship with real estate, I would say there's a lot of love and a lot of learning too. I've been in the industry for 8 years now and still learning every single day, loving it. And I always say that real estate is the perfect amount of chaos and fun.
I love that. Then you became a leader. So tell me, like, what was that transition like, getting into
Yeah.
leadership?
Yeah. Well, on my previous team, a big part of what I did was putting the systems and models in place for us to grow and scale at a large level. So getting really clear on where was our business coming from, how could we convert at a higher level, how can we bring more people to us or get in front of more people, and really have that scalable growth. And once I realized that the models work, it's like Gary Keller knew what he was talking about in the MREA, which is shocking, I know. I was excited to step into the opportunity as the team leader in Palo Alto, California. So the heart of Silicon Valley, really central in the Bay Area for anyone who knows anyone looking to make a move up here. And it was just a natural transition because I'm passionate about coaching and consulting agents and growing up the business of their vision and helping them get there in the most efficient way. Because building out a large team, we went from 30 transactions to over 100 in my time there. A lot of tears and cheers when it comes to building business. So I honor the opportunity to coach and consult to what's worked and also give people the heads up on what doesn't work because I probably tried it.
I think it's so, especially when you're getting started and you're growing a team and you're talking about scalable businesses. We learn so much from others, and most of which is from their pains, or maybe where they stumbled, or maybe didn't see the growth that they were looking for. So we learn from those experiences, and you now have brought that in a leadership journey and are sharing what those are, right?
Yeah.
You talked a little bit about the four models, the MREA. So Kat, just like briefly describe kind of what those are. Why is it still relevant and important for us? Because some people on the call might not be familiar.
Yes, and my apologies if you're not familiar. So in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, there's four models. There's the economic model, lead generation, budget, and organization. If you like to talk in short term, you could call it elbow. And those models are still relevant because really the foundation of building business in real estate, what you need for that foundation hasn't changed. Our industry is dynamic, and it is always changing and growing. Yet when you come back to the basics, those are the stable pieces. So when we take a look at those models, I'll walk you through them really briefly. When we look at the economic model, it's really the numbers behind your business. How much net profit do you want to make? And in turn from that, how many people do you need to have in your database? How many appointments should you go on to be able to sign and close? So we're able to really work it out in a formula. So we get clarity, because clarity is power. From there, we usually build out a business plan to ensure that we're going to hit those goals. Outside of the economic, there's the lead generation model. So that's all about growing business, growing and maintaining. So we take a look at prospecting and marketing. And I always say lead generation is like a buffet. There are tons of different options, tons of different ways to do it. You just need to pick what tastes good to you. What do you enjoy doing? And we're going to build off of that. So that's the lead generation model again, making sure we're touching on our database, communicating with them, converting at a high level. Make sure I smile. I always get these screenshots of me doing the weirdest things like, because I'm so darn expressive. There are so many Zoom recordings of me with a funny face. Maybe it's good marketing.
That's how I am too, but you got to add a few more hand gestures.
Yeah, I think it's memorable, so I'll take it. But yeah, so that's lead generation. When we take a look at the budget model, it's really where's our money going?
Right.
How much are we spending in terms of operating expenses? How much is funneled out to marketing and so forth? And with the budget model, it's really getting clear, making sure that you amazing business owners are taking home the net profit that you have earned and you deserve. Let's get really clear. Where is the money going? Making sure we're hitting those net profit goals. And outside of that's organizational model, and that's all around leverage who or what. I know we've got a couple different people on here, so we might have some people building business strictly on their own, solo agent. Maybe we've got people with an administrative assistant or even a team. What that model really lets us understand is where are we spending our time and what can we leverage to keep us in our highest dollar producing activities. Are we leaning on a CRM for follow-up? So that way we don't have to physically always pick up the phone for every person we're trying to talk to. As you start to really grow and you have so much business that you don't know how you're going to handle it. I'm actually working with an agent on this exact opportunity right now. That's where we take a look at all the things she does and what could we leverage to an assistant, whether it be virtual or an in-person. So we're really exploring that to make sure she gets the support she needs. So that way she can keep growing in the way she wants to grow. And that's really high level. And I probably went through it pretty quick.
No, it was great. And I want to break because I'm going to pick apart a couple of the things that you
Sure.
shared because, first of all, again, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, if you haven't read it, it's time to put it in your Amazon cart and get it delivered today. I'm sure it can be here in just a couple hours, right? If you have read it, it's time to read it 14 or 15 more times. I think that it may feel like because it's been around a while that there isn't something new or different to be able to help people grow their businesses. And in reality, just like you said, these things haven't changed. If you're not getting enough business, you need to get more leads, period. Or we need to work on our conversions. And you touched on that a little bit. So what are some of the conversions in the lead gen model that we're looking at? There we go. Sorry, I'm letting people in. That we're looking at that maybe or in some of the models that are important that maybe we should look at or track more or turn our attention to. What are some of the conversions that are important?
I love that. You're talking nerdy to me. As severely extroverted as I am, I love numbers.
Yeah.
So when we take a look at conversion, I mean, there's so many things that we could look at, but if we're just going to get really purposeful, for example, having clarity around how many appointments do we need to go on to hold, if you set 5 appointments, do you hold all 5 and sign all 5 when you go on listing appointments? What does that conversion look like? And if you're utilizing a CRM, certain CRMs will track that for you, such as Command. But you can get really basic too. Here, I'm going to pull up my notebook and hopefully have it be on a page that's not too tragic. But as a team leader, we really run just like other top producers too. So I'm tracking my numbers at the end of every day. And I've just got my little tallies here. I've got my reach outs, my contacts set, held, signed, and I'm putting it in a spreadsheet at the end of the day. Because when I take a look back, I want to know what my conversion looks like, especially we're in the second half of the year. So when we talk about conversion, where did we get our business from? want you guys to think about that. Where did your business come for the first half of the year? Okay. Do that deep dive, look at your closed transactions. We know where business is coming from. Can we gain clarity around when we went on appointments and we didn't earn the business, what that gap looks like? Because maybe it comes down to a coaching conversation for how we can increase our conversion, and so forth. I get really excited about conversion and probably a little bit into the weeds. So you all let me know if I'm diving in too deep.
You're good.
Outside of that, the other thing I want to say is when I take a look at doing either a quarterly review or a first half year review, I'm looking at where business has come from, how many appointments did I go on to how many I closed, because there's opportunity there. We're not perfect. I script practice 3 times a week still to make sure I'm always growing. And then outside of that, what did we do to build business? So were we actively hosting open houses to grow our database? Were we doing online leads? You know, like I said, lead generation's like a buffet. What were you doing to grow your business, to add to the database? Because that gives us clarity too. Maybe we need to be in conversation with more people, or maybe we have so many people in our database already. It's making sure we're communicating with them at the appropriate levels. So that way we can see that conversion. Because when you look at your sphere of influence and past clients, we should be seeing a 5 to 10% return on that conversion, 5 to 10 conversion on that year over year.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit some really key points there. I love your buffet analogy. So everyone on the call knows I love a good analogy. So I just put that one in the memory bank.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. But it's so true. Many times when we're seeing our transactions not hit in alignment with our goals that we set at the beginning of the year, it 9 times out of 10 is some type of conversion or tracking, nurturing problem on that lead level.
Yeah.
We're either not getting enough leads. That's a big one. People are like, where are my transactions? It's like, well, how many people do you have in your database? We have to grow that number over and over again, just like you shared. And then again, how are we converting? Where's that message? What are we saying? That's when you can prescribe and you can really help, like you said, script and role play. So important that if we're confident in our message that we're telling people, it tracking those numbers allows us to be able to grow and literally prescribe an ailment with education.
Yeah.
So I love that. That one's really, really good with the tracking system. And we all have tracking systems here with our offices, by the way. Of course, with Command, you touched a little bit on that to make sure that we're getting the right conversions and that everyone in our database is being passively marketed to. I love that.
Absolutely.
Kat, what are you seeing? Again, you consult with a lot of agents. What are you seeing right now are some of the pain points and maybe, ways out of it or legs out of it right now in the industry?
That is a good question. Well, I'm seeing pain points predominantly in agents being off track, business owners being off track. It's been a different year, and it's, our world today in real estate looks different than it did a couple years ago, and that's normal. Markets are cyclical. We had the wind behind our sails. So I'm seeing the pain points really being in coming to the realization that we're halfway through the year and I'm not where I want to be. It's not all doom and gloom, but I did set this goal and I'm not on track to hit it. And or outside of that, a lot of what I'm hearing from the business owners I'm in communication with right now is it's really coming down to a lack of time is what I'm hearing. Are we spending our time in purposeful areas? Are we having purposeful conversations with the buyers we're taking out in our cars, not just showing properties to have them then go work with a different agent. Those have been some of the two big pain points I've heard. Yeah. I mean, I always hear about a lot of pain points, but those are the consistent ones.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's a good one that you're hearing is that they're getting a lack of time. But then that second thing that you said is maybe it's not purposeful time to grow the business. And sometimes, we find ourselves doing busy work or what we think what we need to do to produce, excuse me, but you said a little bit before when you were talking about the models too, is taking a look at and going, okay, is the lead, are the leads that I have, where are they coming from? And am I putting my time into that source that is the most successful? Sometimes it's like throwing darts at a board, right? That
Yes. I appreciate you saying that, Hallie. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are we spending our time with the leads that are the most likely to convert? Oh, I had something else I was going to say on that, but I lost it because I got so excited.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's okay. No, but yeah, and it's like just even your sources. It's like look at your lead generation sources. If you're getting online leads, are those converting for you? Now's the time in your businesses, especially we're talking about having a very lean fourth quarter. Now they're projecting to have a strong spring, right, of 2024. But if we're going to have a lean fourth quarter, we have to look at one of the models that you talked about, which is the budget model, right? And making sure that we're investing our money and our time in the things that are going to bring us the most return, right? The most financial gain, the most growth in what we're doing here in the industry. We have to look at those sources, right?
Absolutely. And if I can touch on something, a big aha that I had when building out our mega agent team was when I talked about lead generation. My definition of lead generation was different than some of my team members' definition of lead generation. So we got to learn how to be clear on terms and conditions. And for some of our agents, lead generation meant it meant following up with their pipeline. Touching on the people that they're already in contact with, wherever they're at in the pipeline, I'm going to give a reach out to them. In my definition, lead generation is always geared towards earning new business. So if we're calling our past clients or our sphere to invite them to an event, how we can turn that into lead generation is through the value ask. Provide something of value. I'm inviting you to this event, or market's been crazy. I want to check in you, any questions or anything I can do to support you. That's the value. You ask if they have any real estate needs, and then you ask if they know of anyone else who has real estate needs that you should be in communication with. So I had to learn how to tie doing what they love to do, and also have it be lead generation as well, because it's lead generation when you're asking for new business. And I also want to touch on just the importance, when we do pick up, when our business does get busy, time and time again, my top agents are sitting down with me and they say, Kat, I am so busy. I have no time for anything. And I say, okay, let's take a look at that leverage again. And then I always ask them, how much time are you putting on your calendar in a week to make sure you are working to grow the business? Because when we take off, we get really focused on the here and now, the people that are on the market or pending and so forth, and they need attention too. Yet we don't want to take our foot off the gas for getting in relationship with new people and maintaining relationship with people who we could potentially turn into a lifelong client in the future.
Yeah. Absolutely. You talked a little bit about, I want to pick your brain a little. Of course, you talked about growing teams and time and needing more time. When is it that as an agent that it's time to bring someone else into your business? When is it that that it's like, I need to have my first hire? What does that look like? What does that person look like? And when do you kind of know it's time?
Great question. Love that question. And again, this is exactly what I'm working through with one of our agents who recently made the move over. So we sat down and had lunch the other day. Excuse me, team. I apologize. I'm recovering from being a little.
You're fine.
With me. We were sitting down at lunch the other day and she's telling me about her active pipeline. And she said, I don't have enough time, Kat. She said, I can't take all my buyers out. I don't know where else I can find time to service the business that I have. And I then asked her, who updates your database? Well, first off, do you have a database that you've integrated with since you've made the move? Who's doing the updates? Who confirms your appointments? And that's all her. And through that conversation, she said, it's probably time that I get some help. And I said, absolutely. So when you have so much business that you're struggling servicing it, that's the time you say, woo, I get to grow. Now, if you're wanting to bring on an administrative assistant or bring on a team member and your business is not consistently busy, it is probably not the time, because I want to protect all of you and your bottom dollar and make sure you're able to grow in the most successful way. So what that first hire looks like, if we run to model, that's going to be an administrative assistant. Now, here's the beautiful thing. We've got options there. They could be a virtual assistant. Maybe you need someone in person because you need them to go run out, meet inspectors and so forth. That's really what your first hire is going to look like, because they're going to take all of that administrative stuff off of your plate, also transaction coordinate. They're going to take all the administrative stuff off of your plate and let you go service your clients and go meet more people and get into relationship to be able to service at a higher level.
And grow the business. I mean, that's, I think the important thing is that gives you your time back to then do more of what? Lead generation.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And that first person that you do and bring into what your world looks like and what your business looks like is really going to set the tone for that next step for you. Just like Kat said, when you're too busy to do those little things, back end things that realtors tend to not be strong at anyways, let's be real there, that usually is not everyone's forte. Although Kat, I do have to say, someone did compliment you in the chat about how organized you are.
Oh, thank you. I have a team that helps.
Yeah. But I think that's what's important is that, it's your business. You're the CEO of your business. You have the vision, you have the goals. Bring someone in to help you get some of that back end stuff done so you can look better, so you can be better, so you can have more time back. I love that. Kat, so we have a couple minutes left. What are some of the other things like that you see in the future, months when things are getting harder or as people are growing their businesses? What are some things maybe you have for us on the call that we should look out for, that we should look into, new real estate things?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's anticipated to be a colder Q4. Markets looking different in Q4. When we look at the future, there's always going to be new opportunities, new ways to get in front of people or bring inbound leads in. What I encourage all of you to do is just really take a look at what are you doing right now that's working and how can we double down on that? Because when markets shift, oftentimes it takes more action to generate sometimes less results. So what can we do right now while people are out and about? We're seeing great production levels, at least up here in the Bay Area. It's a really busy time. So what can we do to best utilize this time to set us up for success in the future? Because oftentimes the actions that we're taking today in terms of growing our business and maintaining it, lead generation and follow-up, those are going to be the closings we see in 90 days. So we want to make sure we're front loading right now to be able to have a healthy Q4 and so forth. The other thing that I always encourage agents to do is just be really connected in your community, your allied partners. They've got a pulse on what's going on as well. So your preferred lenders, just those allied partners that you are growing business with, ask them what's going on and what they're hearing with their clients as well.
Yeah, I love that. Someone just typed in the chat, what advice can you give for busy moms who are hungry to make it? I have a 4-month-old and a 4-year-old. Oh.
Yes, that's a great question, Jessica. And I see your other one. I don't coach agents outside of my office yet. Could be something in the future. I do know of some amazing MAPS coaches, though, that'll be happy to share with Halley. And I know she knows amazing people too. The advice that I would give a busy mom who's hungry is, and Jessica, I don't know how long you've been in the industry for or anything like that, but I always say start with the bread and butter of our business. Are you communicating with your sphere of influence that you're in real estate? So starting with your sphere, getting the name out there that way, 1.5 years, thank you. So continuously communicating with your sphere, asking for referrals. And what I can also say is where I am seeing some of our agents who have been in the industry relatively same time as you, Jessica, is I've seen them getting opportunities from open houses and understanding that you have a 4-month-old. First off, congratulations. That's what I should have said first. Congratulations on that. Is there a time that you can have someone help with the baby so you can go host an open house? And then
Yes.
when you're able to take that time to go build, Jessica, what I also encourage you to do is when baby's asleep, that's when you're doing the follow-up and putting some of those nurture systems in place. So that way we're being really purposeful with going out and meeting people and making sure we're staying in contact with them once we get them in our database too. I hope that was helpful.
That was awesome.
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, good question, Jessica. If anyone has any, we have time for one more in the chat, but Kat, I totally agree with what you said. And it's just making best use of your time, whether you're a mom, you're a father, you're a pet parent, grandparent, whatever it is. In your life, we have obstacles that keep us from doing the consistent activities every day because they're variables. Right? Time block things and go, this is our lead gen time. This is our open house time. But we know kids and pets and things like that throw a wrench in those, right? And it could throw everything off. But the way that you stated that, it's like, use your best time. If a kid's asleep, be texting, be nurturing your CRM. And I love that. Someone says, what does a day look like, or a day in the life look like for you? Oh, okay. So Brenda wants to know, what does a day look like to you, Kat? What do you?
I love it, Brenda. I am very purposeful with my time. So when I'm up, getting ready in the mornings, meals are prepped the day before. When I hit the road, I am putting on Audible. So I'm listening to some type of book. Right now, I'm actually listening to Atomic Habits. So something that can help me grow and just, or business related, real estate related. Every 3 days a week, I script practice with different team leaders. And then after that, every morning I do a huddle with my leadership team, making sure we're all on the same page. Where are we at? Where are we going? And then from 9 to 11, I lead generate. 11 to 12, I lead follow up. And then my afternoon is spent coaching and consulting the agents currently in our world, the top 20% of agents currently in our world, and building relationships and meeting agents outside of our world too. And I try to squeeze in some administrative stuff outside of that as well.
Like a lunch, maybe? Do you?
I am so bad at that. That is one thing I have to say. Please take time for yourselves, everyone, because I don't always do that. I'm eating between my appointments. So that's a growth opportunity for me. But that's what a typical day looks like for me. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you, Kat. This is great. You guys, round of applause, virtual applause for Kat. So excited to have you join us. Again, just to recap some of those things, the MREA is still so relevant. It's time for us to go back and look at it because there are so many different things that we can do to grow our businesses. Take time for yourself, nurture that database. If you're busy, you have obstacles in your world that can set off your whole schedule and trajectory. Make sure you're getting the highest and best use of your time when you can, and find creative ways to kind of inject your business into your daily life. I love that. Kat, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you guys. Go on social media and follow Kat Matso Lewis and see her journey through being a team leader. And I know you're going to have many, many, many more years of growth, and we're excited to be along with the journey. Thanks,
I'm honored to have been here. Thank you so much, Halley.
Yeah. Have a good Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday. Bye.